Today we'll start a new chapter, Animal Kingdom. So, Animal Kingdom, it includes all the multicellular, non-photosynthetic organisms and without cell wall. Okay, and this contains a millions of animal species, and animals differ greatly in size, shape, habitat, and complexity. And despite these differences, animals possess several fundamental characteristics. And these common features form the basis of scientific classification. Okay, and why this classification is very important, that we have already discussed in biological classification chapter, but still I am repeating. The classification helps in easy identification. So let me write down. Classification helps in easy identification of animals, because we are discussing animal kingdom, so I'm not writing animal. Understanding, very important, understanding evolutionary relationship. Okay, and it is also helpful in studying the similarities and differences systematically. Okay, so this is the importance of a classification. Now come to the main topic, that is basis of classification. What are the basis of a classification? Classification of animals. So the basis of classification are level of organization. We will discuss one by one. Level of organization, then body symmetry, then germ layers, and then nature of xylem, five segmentation, and sixth one is presence or absence of notochord. Presence or absence of notochord. Okay, now we'll discuss, today in this session we'll discuss one by one the basis of classification. Okay, so now let us start with the level of organization. Okay, so this is the first basis. Now this level of organization means the degree of structural complexity shown by the multicellular organism or multicellular animals. So as you start from the, see, you forget about the protozoa. We'll not discuss about the protozoa because they come under protista. Protista के अंडर में आते हैं, so we will not discuss about the protozoa. So after protozoa, the porifera, cnidaria, ctenophora, and these groups of organisms comes under animal kingdom. Okay, and gradually as you move from the porifera to the echinodermata, then to the chordates, you will see that there is a degree of structural complexity. Okay, and there are four major levels of organization. Four major levels of organization. So what are those four levels of major levels of organization? Actually, there is a protoplasmic level of organization, but we will not discuss that one because protoplasmic level of organization is seen in unicellular organism, that is in protozoans, where the protoplasm performs all the physiological activities. Okay, so that we will not discuss here. That's why it is not given in your in this chapter. Okay. Now, so what are those level of organization? The first one is cellular level of organization. So what is cellular level of organization? So here what happens? The cells are loosely arranged and no tissue or organ are formed. Actually, in tissue, what happens? All the cells are having common origin and they are very tightly packed. And these tissue are tightly packed to form the organs. But here the cells are loosely packed, so they are not forming a tissue. And the cells perform their functions independently. Means, see, uh, these all are same type of cell. Like you take the case of porifera. In porifera, you will see different types of cell. Okay, like guanocyte cell, you will see here different types of cells are there. So there may be guanocyte cell which are having flagella and helps in locomotion. Similarly, amoebocyte cells, okay, pinacocyte cells. So these are the different types of cells, but these cells do not depend upon each other. They work individually. Okay, independently they work. Okay. Then the next point is some division of labor exists among the cell. I am writing the language of Ncert only. Some division of labor exists among the cells. What is division of labor? You see, see, you take the example of your home. आपके घर में क्या होता है? जो काम है ना, वो काम को बांट दिया गया है. जैसे मम्मी का काम क्या है? किचन संभाल, यानी खाना बनाएगी. पापा का काम है टू अर्न द मनी. आपका काम है पढ़ाई करना. मम्मी का काम है साफ सफाई करना. दीदी का काम है घर को साफ रखना, पढ़ाई करना. तो ये जो काम है, ये पूरा आपका घर का काम है, लेकिन ये घर का काम को बांट दिया गया है. दैट इज कॉल्ड डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर. तो वैसे ही यहाँ पर आप देखो, ये जो सेल है एक जगह पर होते हैं, लेकिन ये जो सेल को, जैसे क्वानोसाइट सेल, एमोबोसाइट सेल्स, पिनाकोसाइट सेल, इसको डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर मतलब इनका काम को बांट दिया गया है. इनको डिफरेंट ग्रुप ऑफ सेल को काम को बांट दिया गया है. ओके, एंड नाउ कम टू द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ दिस टाइप ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन, I mean this type of organization. So characteristics. The characteristics is that it is the simplest level of organization. Okay, and here cells are aggregated together. And every cell, very important, every cell is capable of performing several functions. Okay, and there is no coordination. This point is very important. This is the difference between tissue and the cell aggregate. Okay, so no coordination among the cells like higher animals. जैसे हायर एनिमल्स में क्या होता है, टिश्यू या फिर ऑर्गन होता है, एंड दे डोंट हैव that is I mean they have the cells bound together to form the tissue and they perform the function. Okay, so here the example is porifera, and they have cell aggregates of they have cell aggregate of like choanocyte, pinacocyte, thesocyte, amoebocytes, etc. Okay, so ये हो गया आपका cell aggregate level of organization. Okay, the next level of organization is tissue level of organization. Second one is tissue level of organization. So what is this tissue level of organization? So here group of cell having common origin, this is very important, common origin and performing similar function together form tissue. Okay, so their origin must be same. Now let us see the characteristics of this level of organization. It includes, the characteristics are here. This in the previous case there was no true tissue, only the aggregation of cell was there. So here true tissue is present, means the cells are very close to each other, they are closely packed. And here in previous case there is some labor of division, but here the division of labor becomes more efficient, because here a group of cell are performing a particular function. Okay, so that's why it is more efficient than the cell aggregate level of organization. But here tissue is present but organs are absent. Organs are absent. For example, Nidaria, which is commonly known as Coelenterata. Okay, and other example is Stenophora. Okay, and here what is the most important feature? There is this is very important, children. There is a better coordination सेल के बीच में than the cellular level. तो सेल के बीच में जो कोऑर्डिनेशन है दैट इज मोर देन द प्रीवियस वन. ठीक है, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. देन कम टू organ level of organization. Third one, organ level of organization. Okay, let us see what is organ level of organization. Here different tissue combine together to form organs. Okay, and the organ performs the, here not the tissue, organ performs the specialized function. Like kidney for excretion, like stomach for digestion. So here tissues are combined together to form the organ. But here what is absent? Organ system is absent. Organ system is absent. This you have to remember. Okay, and here the example is platyhelminthes. Example, platyhelminthes. Very, very important. Okay, and for example, here, the examples are, like organs are mouth, pharynx, intestine, etc. Okay, then organ system level of organization. What is organ system level of organization? This is the fourth one. Organ system level of organization. What is this? Here the several organs. Here what happens? Several organs work together to perform a specific physiological function. Specific physiological function. So here function means always physiological function, and it is the highest level of organization. Okay, and here the such type of organisms are having complex body structure, and the organ systems are highly developed. Okay, for example, Annelida, Arthropoda, then your mollusca, Echinodermata, then Chordata. Okay, so they all are having organ system level of organization. For example, some major organ systems are digestive system, excretory system, circulatory system, nervous system, like this. So these are some of the. Now how the complexity, this see from this basis of classification, when we are taking as the level of organization as the basis of classification, then see how the complexity has been increased. So how the complexity has been increased? The complexity has been increased like सबसे पहले क्या था? Cell, then it becomes tissue, then tissue becomes organ, then organ becomes organ system. So here simplest one is cell, and this is the most complex one. Most complex. So gradually during the course of evolution, the complexity of the organ has been taken place. As a result of, the complexity of function is also increased. Okay. Now the next is your so when we are discussing here about the digestive system, let us see the types of digestive system. So the types of digestive system, there are two types of digestive system. One is incomplete, very important children, and other one is complete. Okay. So what is incomplete digestive system? Here only one opening is present. Is present, and that opening act as both mouth and anus present, which act as both mouth and anus. तो एक्सक्रीटरी मटेरियल भी वहीं से निकलता है एंड फूड भी वो लेता है थ्रू दैट ओपनिंग. ओके. एंड so that means food enters and undigested food leaves the body through the same opening. ओके. फॉर एग्जाम्पल निडारिया. आपने हाइड्रा के बारे में सुना होगा. हाइड्रा इज वन निडारिया जिसमें ओनली वन ओपनिंग होता है. निडारिया. देन प्लाटीहेलमिंथेस. ओके. तो ये हो गया आपका एग्जाम्पल. नाउ कम टू द कंप्लीट डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम. So here two separate openings are there, that is mouth and anus. Okay. Anus for mouth is for ingestion. Mouth is for ingestion. Okay. And anus is for ejection. याद रखो, ejection. Ejection means removal of waste material. Okay. And here one way movement of food takes place. So one way movement of food takes place. ठीक है. सो आपका माउथ से गया, एनस से रिलीज हो गया. एंड दिस हियर इन सच एनिमल द डाइजेशन इज मोर एफिशिएंट. डाइजेशन इज मोर एफिशिएंट. ओके. सो व्हाट आर द एग्जांपल? आफ्टर प्लाटीहेलमिंथेस, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम annelids, annelids onward. annelid के बाद जितने सारे हैं, annelida, mollusca, echinodermata, so all these group of organisms are having the complete digestive system. Now we also discussed about the circulatory system. Now come to the types of circulatory system. Types of circulatory system. ओके, नाउ ये जो सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम है, दैट यू नो दैट सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम कंसिस्ट ऑफ द ब्लड वेसल, ब्लड एंड द हार्ट. So this circulatory system is of two types. Okay, so one is open circulatory system, open, and closed circulatory system. Okay, let me first tell you what is open circulatory system. In open circulatory system, blood is pumped into the body cavity. I will explain you. Okay, and because it is directly pumped to the body cavity, so here what happens? The blood directly baths the tissue. Okay, and blood vessels are absent or poorly developed. Here, blood vessels are absent or poorly developed. Okay, that means even if they are present, they are very small in size and they are non-functional. Okay, and here since the body, well, blood is flowing inside the body cavity, so the blood pressure is low. Okay, and here the advantage, there are so many advantages. So what are the advantages? Let me tell you. First one is it is simpler, and second one is it is less energy required for this process, because directly टिश्यू के पास आपका ब्लड चला जाता है, पंप आउट हो जाता है. सो इसमें ज़्यादा एनर्जी की ज़रूरत नहीं होता है. सो लेस एनर्जी रिक्वायर्ड. ठीक है, जब एडवांटेज हम बोल रहे हैं तो उसका डिसएडवांटेज भी है. लेट मी टेल यू द डिसएडवांटेजेस. So what are the disadvantages? Because your pressure is low, so slow circulation is there. Okay, and since circulation is slow, so less efficient transportation. Okay, so let me explain it here in the with the help of diagram, then I'll rub this. So here you see, take the case of cockroach. So this is the body of cockroach. Okay, and this is the thoracic region, and here is the head. Here is the head. Okay, so here in case of cockroach, there are 13 chambered heart, or you can say 13 hearts are there. So here what happens in our case, in higher organism, what happens? From the heart, the artery and veins are arised, or you can say the blood vessels are arised, and the blood vessel carries blood to each and every organ. Okay, but here what happens in cockroach, the organs are present, the tissues are present, but what happens from the heart, the blood is directly released into the body cavity. सीधा यहाँ आ जाता है. ठीक है, because of which whatever organs and tissues are present, they come in direct contact with the blood. So as a result of which जिस उनका जो ज़रूरत है, मीन्स वट एवर इज रिक्वायरमेंट फ्रॉम द ब्लड, दे गेट इट easily. So this is the advantage. But what is the disadvantage? The disadvantage is that since it flows through the cavity, देखो ये वॉल्यूम बड़ा हो गया ना, So when the volume increases, the pressure of the fluid decreases. So here the blood flows with very low pressure. And since the pressure is low, so the transportation of the pigments, transportation of the food, transportation of excretory material, everything becomes slow. Okay, so this is all about the open circulatory system. Open means the blood is not flowing through a blood vessel. So here the blood vessels are absent. Now come to closed circulatory system, which we are having. Okay. Now, in case of closed circulatory system, the blood always flows. Remember, blood, sorry, blood always flows through blood vessels. Okay, so here blood always flows through the blood vessels, and these blood vessels are your artery, vein, and capillaries. Okay, and here since they are flowing through the blood vessels, so blood flows with high pressure. Okay, and since pressure is high, so the circulation is faster circulation. Okay, so here what are the example? So here I have not given you the example. So example is your arthropoda, to which the cockroach belongs, and most mollusks. Okay, जो snail वगैरह है वो that comes under this one. And then coming to the open circulatory system, I am in closed circulatory system, the examples are annelida and all chordata. Okay, so this is about the circulatory system. Now come to the next basis of classification, that is symmetry. Next basis of classification is symmetry. Okay, so the symmetry, what is symmetry? Symmetry means arrangement of body parts around a central axis. ओके, सो एक इमेजिनरी एक्सिस ले लो एंड उसके चारों तरफ जो हमारे बॉडी पार्ट्स अरेंज्ड है, लाइक आवर एक्सिस जो है, बॉडी का एक्सिस हम किसको लेंगे? वर्टिब्रल कॉलम को. तो अगर उसको हम वर्टिब्रल कॉलम को एक्सिस ले रहे हैं तो उसके चारों तरफ जो ऑर्गन नहीं तो बॉडी पार्ट्स है, जैसे हैंड, लेग. सो दीज आर द बॉडी पार्ट्स विच आर प्रेजेंट सराउंडिंग द central axis. So on the basis of the arrangement, the symmetry is of three types. Actually it is of two types. There is another type, that is asymmetry, means there is no symmetry. Okay, so let us see what is asymmetry. Okay, asymmetry means body cannot be divided into equal halves. Okay, by any plane, na vertical na horizontal, by any plane. Okay, because they have irregular body shape and because of their primitive condition. Okay, so here take the example of sponges. So the sponges, they don't have any specific shape. Okay, so if you divide them vertically, then also you will not get the mirror half. Okay, if you cut them horizontally, then also you will not get the mirror half. So they are asymmetric. Okay, now the next one is radial symmetry. Okay, so what is radial symmetry? The radial symmetry means that is any plane that is passing through the central axis divides the body into two equal halves. So any vertical plane passing through the central axis divides the body into two equal halves. Okay, that means suppose say this is the body of an organism and this is the axis. Okay, and this is the body of the organism. Then we can cut this way, we can cut this way, we can cut this way. So in any vertical plane, when we cut or divide the organism, we get the mirror image of the body. Okay, means we can divide it into two equal halves. So why it is happening? Because the body parts are arranged around the central axis. Okay, and why it is important? This part is very important, children. This is adapted for sessile. Sessile means not attached to the substratum or any surface. किसी surface में ये attached नहीं है. Sessile or floating lifestyle. ओके, सो ये जो है रेडियल सिमेट्री इज टू accomplish or to accomplish the function of the floating, or it is adapted for the sessile, means the organisms which are not attached to any surface, they are always swimming or floating. Okay, it is advantageous for them. For example, Nidaria, Ctenophora, and here remember adult echinodermata. Very, very important. Adult echinodermata. Okay, but in larva, bilateral symmetry is there. Okay, now come to the third type of symmetry, or you can say the second type of symmetry, that is bilateral symmetry. Okay, so what is bilateral symmetry? Here the body can be divided into two equal halves. Body can be divided into two equal halves only in only one vertical plane. जैसे हमारा बॉडी है, हमारा बॉडी क्या है, हम अगर एक ही वर्टिकल प्लेन में बॉडी को डिवाइड करेंगे, देन ऑन बोथ साइड विल गेट वन हैंड, वन लेग, then the heart will be cut from the middle. So like this, more or less, exactly तो नहीं बोलेंगे, more or less we'll get all the body parts on either side. Okay, so here in such type of organism, what are the complexities, or you can say the what are the more advanced structure developed? So here the head region is developed. Okay, and they have better movement because they have the limbs, and advanced nervous system because the head is developed, so they have advanced nervous system. Okay, so for example, platyhelminthes, ऑनवर्ड, इसके आगे जितने सारे हैं वो सारे आपके हैविंग बायलेटरल सिमेट्री. Okay, now come to the diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Okay, so here the concept of germ layer comes. So let me first tell you what are the germ layers. Okay, तो सबसे पहले हमको क्या जानना पड़ेगा? germ layers. So during embryonic stage, during embryonic development, जब embryo develop होता है, the germ layers are formed and all tissue and organs, ये जितने सारे टिश्यू एंड ऑर्गन है सारे डेवलप होते हैं जर्म लेयर्स. सो द जर्म लेयर्स फॉर्म all tissues and organs. Okay, and what are the three germ layers? The three germ layers are ectoderm, then mesoderm, middle one, and third one is innermost is endoderm. Okay, so these are the three germ layers. Okay, now so as I said that diploblastic and triploblastic organization, then what happens in diploblastic animals? Let us first discuss diploblastic animals. So in diploblastic animals, they have two germ layers. So what are they? The two germ layers are ectoderm and endoderm. There is no mesoderm. Okay, acha, but in between them, in between, because this is outer and this is inner, so in between them, very important, them mesoglia is present, very important, present. Then what is mesoglia? मेसोग्लिया इज ए नॉन सेल्यूलर. देखो ये एक्टोडर्म सेल्यूलर है, एंडोडर्म सेल्यूलर है और मेजोडर्म भी सेल्यूलर है. ओके, बट दिस इज नॉन सेल्यूलर जेली लाइक लेयर. तो इसीलिए हम इसको एक ट्रू लेयर नहीं बोलेंगे. तो इसमें टोटल कितना लेयर हुआ? एक्टोडर्म एंड एंडोडर्म, इसीलिए हम इसको बोलेंगे डिप्लोब्लास्टिक. So it is not a germ layer. It is not a germ layer. Okay, and it provides only support. Only support. ये दोनों जो लेयर है एक्टोडर्म एंड एंडोडर्म, उनको सिर्फ ये सपोर्ट देता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल निडारिया एंड टीनोफोरा. Okay, नाउ इसमें आपका लाइक एक्टोडर्म का काम क्या है, एंडोडर्म का काम क्या है, ये तो आपका है नहीं, सो आई एम नॉट डिस्कसिंग दैट वन. नाउ कम टू द ट्रिप्लोब्लास्टिक एनिमल. So what are triploblastic animals? So here the animals having three germ layers. So what are these three germ layers? The three germ layers are ectoderm, ectoderm, that is outer, mesoderm, middle, and third one is endoderm, that is inner. Okay, so there are three germ layers, and this is present from, example, from platyhelminthes to chordata. ठीक है, and these germ layers form the different organs. ठीक है, जैसे मैं आपको बताऊंगी, कुछ एग्जाम्पल दे रही हूँ. एक्टोडर्म फॉर्म्स स्किन, हेयर, नेल्स, ब्रेन, स्पाइनल कॉर्ड. देन मेसोडर्म फॉर्म्स मसल्स, बोन्स, ब्लड, हार्ट, किडनी, and like testes and ovaries. Then endoderm forms liver, pancreas, digestive system, respiratory lining. Okay, so these are the organs, and some other organs are also developing from the three different layers. Now come to the coelom. So we have discussed about the three layers. So the coelom or the body cavity is related to, on the basis of the organization of these three layers, the body cavity is of three types. Okay, so now come to the next topic, that is coelom. So what is coelom? Coelom is a fluid filled body cavity present between body wall and alimentary canal. ओके, सो सपोज से ये बॉडी है, तो ये बॉडी का, ये हो गया बॉडी वॉल, दिस इज बॉडी वॉल, और ये हो गया आपका एलिमेंट्री कैनल जो कि सेंटर में है. दिस इज एलिमेंट्री यानी डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम, एलिमेंट्री कैनल. ये दोनों के बीच जो ये कैविटी है, दिस कैविटी इज नोन एज सीलम. ओके, so this is the cavity present between the alimentary canal and the body wall. So basing on this, the coelom, हाँ यहाँ और एक important point मैं बताऊंगी, that is a true coelom, very very important. A true coelom is completely lined by mesoderm. ओके, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर मेसोडर्म से लाइन हुआ तब हम उसको बोलेंगे ट्रू सीलम, अदरवाइज इट इज नॉट ए ट्रू सीलम. ओके, नाउ कम टू द टाइप्स ऑफ सीलम. ठीक है, तो अभी देखते हैं व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ सीलम. लाइक फर्स्ट वन इज एसिलोमेट, means body cavity absent. ओके, बॉडी कैविटी अगर नहीं है तो कैविटी के जगह पर क्या है, दैट वी मस्ट नो. द बॉडी कैविटी इज filled with parenchyma. ठीक है, बॉडी कैविटी के बीच में पैरेन्काइमा होता है, सो देयर इज नो कैविटी. ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल प्लाटीहेलमिन्थेस. Okay, now next, number 2. Number 2 is pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate क्या है? Here the body cavity is present. Very very important. Body cavity is present but not lined by mesoderm. हम बॉडी कैविटी कब बोलेंगे ट्रू बॉडी कैविटी? जब मेजोडर्म से लाइन होगा. तो यहाँ पर मेजोडर्म इज नॉट देयर. Okay, it is not lined by mesoderm, so it is known as false body cavity. And how the mesoderms are present? The mesoderm present as scattered pouch. ओके, स्कैटर्ड पाउच के रूप में ये होता है. लेट मी शो यू नाउ द डायग्राम. अभी देखो, सबसे पहले मैंने जैसे बोला आपका ये हो गया एसिलोमेट. एसिलोमेट में दिखा रही हूँ, ये है आपका हो गया एक्टोडर्म. ओके, देन नेक्स्ट कम टू योर, दिस इज the gut or alimentary canal which is lined by endoderm. ये हो गया आपका एंडोडर्म. और ये जो बीच में आपका ये हो गया एक्टोडर्म और ये हो गया एंडोडर्म. अभी इसके बीच में जो पोर्शन है, दिस इज फील्ड विथ पैरेन्काइमेटस टिश्यू. सो इट इज नॉट मेसोडर्म, दिस इज पैरेन्काइमेटस टिश्यू. तो यहां पर आपका बॉडी कैविटी नहीं रहा, सो इसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? एसिलोमेट. ओके, इसको हम बोलेंगे एसिलोमेट. नाउ दूसरा हम देखेंगे, दिस इज एसिलोमेट. नाउ नेक्स्ट हम देखेंगे सूडोसिलोमेट. सूडोसिलोमेट में क्या है आपका? ये हो गया एक्टोडर्म. एक्टोडर्म. ओके, उसके बाद आपका मिडिल में दिस इज गट. ये गट है और ये हो गया एंडोडर्म. अभी आपका यहाँ ये बीच में अगर मेजोडर्म होता तब हम उसको बोलते ट्रूसिलम. बट यहाँ पर क्या होता है आपका, ये जो मेजोडर्म है दे आर प्रेजेंट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ स्कैटर्ड पाउच. मेजोडर्म से पाउच फॉर्म में होता है, कंटिन्यूअस नहीं होता. ठीक है, सो इसको हम बोलते हैं मेजोडर्मल पाउच. सो सच टाइप ऑफ बॉडी कैविटी इज नोन एज pseudocoelom. Okay, clear? Now come to the coelomate. Now जिसमें ट्रू सीलम होता है हम उसको बोलते हैं सीलोमेट. Now so this is the third one, coelomate. Here this is the true coelom and the body cavity is completely lined by mesoderm. Okay, and so it is a true coelom. Okay, and here the organs are suspended and because of this efficient organ functioning is there. Okay, now let me show you with the help of diagram. अभी देखो, ये हो गया आपका एक्टोडर्म, दिस इज एक्टोडर्म। ओके, देन सेंटर में आपका क्या बताया था मैंने, दिस इज द एंडोडर्म और सेंटर में हो गया गट। अभी ये जो बीच का स्पेस है, दैट स्पेस इज फील्ड विथ मेसोडर्म। ठीक है, ये पूरा मेसोडर्म से कवर हुआ है। देयर इज नो, इट इज, आई एम सॉरी, डायग्राम गलत कर दिया, जस्ट। तो यहाँ पर आपका देखो, आपका जो एंडोडर्म है उसके चारों तरफ भी मेसोडर्म है, और जो एक्टोडर्म है उसके अंदर की तरफ भी क्या है, मेसोडर्म। सो दिस इज मेसोडर्म एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो मेसोडर्म। तो मेसोडर्म के बीच में ये हो गया कैविटी, दिस इज कैविटी। तो कैविटी आप देखो दोनों तरफ से मेसोडर्म से कवर हुआ है, लाइन हुआ है। सो इसीलिए इसको हम बोलेंगे ट्रू सीलम, दैट इज सीलोमेट। ओके, सो आई थिंक इट इज क्लियर टू यू। नाउ कम टू द एग्जाम्पल्स। एग्जाम्पल में आपका आनेलिडा ऑनवर्ड्स, एग्जाम्पल आनेलिडा ऑनवर्ड्स। लेकिन इसमें हम हेमिकोडाटा पढ़ेंगे जिसमें आपका नहीं होता, सो दैट इज द एक्सेप्शनल केसेस। नाउ नेक्स्ट कम टू द segmentation. Let us discuss segmentation. Okay, अच्छा, segmentation क्या होता है? Segmentation is otherwise known as metamerism. Okay, so what is segmentation? It is the division of body into repeated segments. Okay, and this is called metamerism. Metamerism actually आपके बुक में जैसे दिया है, अब पूरा सिंपल करके दे दिया है, इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट। व्हेन द external segmentation coincides with internal segmentation, then it is called metamerism. ओके, जैसे आपका ले लो एर्थोम। एर्थोम का देखो जो एक्सक्रीटरी ऑर्गन है नेफ्रिडिया, देखो बाहर से बॉडी उसका रिंग शेप्ड सेगमेंट है, लेकिन हर सेगमेंट में द नेफ्रिडिया इज रिपीटेडली प्रेजेंट। ओके, सो उसको हम बोलेंगे मेटामोरिज्म, एंड हियर द सेगमेंट्स आर कॉल्ड मेटामियर्स। ओके, एंड हियर बोथ एक्सटर्नल एंड इंटरनल सेगमेंटेशन। इसका मतलब क्या है, रिपीटेशन ऑफ ऑर्गन्स इन सेगमेंट्स। ठीक है, जैसे मैं आपको एर्थोम का स्ट्रक्चर बता रही हूँ, ये है एर्थोम का सेगमेंट, बॉडी ऐसे डिवाइड होता है सेगमेंट में। ओके, सो दिस इज द सेगमेंट, ये हो गया एक्सटर्नल सेगमेंट जो हमको बाहर से दिख रहा है। बट इसके अंदर आप देखोगे नेफ्रिडिया, हर एक सेगमेंट में नेफ्रिडिया इज रिपीटेडली प्रेजेंट, तो इसको हम बोलेंगे मेटामोरिज्म। ओके, तो इसका एक एडवांटेज क्या होता है, इट हेल्प्स इन बेटर लोकोमोशन। अच्छा, मैं लिख देती हूँ एडवांटेज क्या है, बेटर लोकोमोशन, फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी एंड एफिशिएंट ऑर्गन फंक्शन। ओके, एंड एग्जाम्पल दैट इज अर्थवर्म, लीच, नेरीज, ये सब में होता है। Now come to the last one, that is notochord. Presence or absence of notochord. ओके, अभी हम देखेंगे नोटोकॉर्ड क्या है. इट इज ए फ्लेक्सिबल rod like structure formed from mesoderm on the dorsal side during embryonic development. अभी देखो, अक्सर हम नोटोकॉर्ड मतलब हम समझ लेते हैं, किसको समझ लेते हैं? हम नोटोकॉर्ड मतलब हम सोचते हैं कि हमारा जो नॉर्म कोड है, ठीक है? नहीं, नोटोकॉर्ड हमारे केस में in human being it is converted into vertebral column. Our vertebral column is the notochord. ठीक है? So इसका कैरेक्टरिस्टिक पहले मैं बता देती हूँ. They are mesodermal. Already I have told you. Then present only in chordates. Present only in chordates and it supports the body. हमारा बैकबोन का काम क्या है? It provides supports the body को support provide करता है. It also helps in locomotion and in vertebrates. We are vertebrates. In vertebrates, it is replaced by vertebral column. Okay. Now, on the basis of presence or absence of the notochord, the animals are classified into chordata and non-chordata. अभी चलते हैं chordata और chordates and non-chordates. ओके, तो अभी हम देखेंगे chordates में क्या क्या होता है. इसमें नोटोकॉर्ड प्रेजेंट. ठीक है, इसका फीचर मैं पहले लिख देती हूँ. देन हियर डोर्सल होलो नॉर्कोड प्रेजेंट. नॉर्कोड कौन सा है बोले तो हमारा जो स्पाइनल कॉर्ड है. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट pharyngeal gill slits present. Okay, and there is a post anal tail. आप बोलोगे कि हम लोग का तो टेल नहीं है, फिर हम कैसे कोडेट है? हमारा टेल नहीं है, बट अगर हमारा वर्टिब्रा देखोगे तो हमारे वर्टिब्रा के पूरा एंड में टेल वर्टिब्रा इज देयर. इसका मतलब हमारे एंसेस्टर्स का टेल था, पोस्ट एनल टेल था, बट वी डोंट हैव. ओके, नाउ कम टू, अच्छा इसका एग्जांपल क्या है? फिश, फ्रॉग, बर्ड, आप जो भी लिख सकते हो. ऑल ऑफ यू नो दिस. ओके, नाउ कम टू द नॉन कोडाटा. नॉन कोडाटा क्या है? नॉन कोडेट्स आर दे डोंट हैव नो नोटोकोड. ओके, कोडाटा में क्या होता है? डोर्सल नॉर्कोड, बट इसमें क्या होता है? वेंट्रल नॉर्कोड. ओके, तो इसमें pharyngeal gill slits absent नहीं होता है. ठीक है, और बाकी पोस्ट अनल टेल, वर्टिब्रल कॉलम ही नहीं तो पोस्ट अनल टेल कहाँ से आएगा? ठीक है. सो दीज आर द बेसिस ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ एनिमल्स. सो फॉर टुडे दिस मच ओनली. ये फिर भी 1 घंटा हो गया सेशन. तो नेक्स्ट क्लास हम फिर शुरू करेंगे हमारा क्लासिफिकेशन के बाद। उसमें हम पोरीफेरा का आई मीन डिफरेंट एनिमल का फाइलम जो है उसको हम डिस्कस करेंगे। ठीक है, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, धन्यवाद।